right. Where's the rest? Yeah, I think we're fine without.
Point of order. He's personal privilege, right?
Okay, is that what he's doing? All right.
Yes.
Are we unmuted? Okay. Let's call the meeting in order for August 23rd, 2022. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember James Blair,
He's excused. He'll be here in a bit.
Councilmember Joseph Richardson,
I haven't heard anything from Joseph. Or Councilmember Richardson, excuse me.
Joshua Crossman,
Here.
Councilmember Holly Smith. Here. Councilmember Brian Hess,
He's here.
Councilmember Lynn Roy. Here. Councilmember Terry Kaminsky. Here. Mayor Joe DePinto.
Here. All righty, I was gonna delay a little bit, but we have a quorum either way, so let's continue moving on. And Councilmember Hess should be back momentarily, and Councilmember Blair will also be here momentarily. But with that said, could I get an agenda approval?
I move to the agenda.
Motion by Councilmember Crossman. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Smith. All right, we have a motion, a second for the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right, moving on to special presentations. None are scheduled. Moving on to public comment. Do we have anyone online just to testify?
See any hands raised?
All righty, move on to item 5, consent agenda. This includes the August 2nd, 2022 study session minutes and the August 9th, 2022 regular meeting minutes. Motion to approve, Councilmember Hess. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Kaminsky. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to new business. Item A, approval to hire 2 entry-level police officers. Chief, would you mind coming up and briefing us on this, please?
Mayor, thank you. Just here with a request for approval to hire 2 entry-level police officers at the cost of the city of $76,776.60. That's for both officers. That includes the academy, their level 1 step officer pay per their union contract, benefits, as well as equipment for the remainder of 2022. The reason for the request is we're budgeted for 15 positions. Hiring these 2 would put us at 17. So they're basically 2 ups. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. Because we have 2 officers that are on L&I injury right now. Their return is doubtful. And I would assume, and speaking with them, that their retirement is going to happen. It's just a matter of when. So what I'm trying to do is get ahead of the time frame that it's going to take for us to get these officers on the road. We initially had a November 1st academy date for them. They moved that to October 17th, and now we've got word that it's September 27th for them to go to the academy. So to have 2 seats in the academy right now today is like gold. So that's pretty important to get those seats filled. It's going to take us 7 months from the start of their academy to the time they get on the road and cover a shift for us to have them fill a shift on the schedule. So it's important that we get ahead of that and try to get them on the road and get through the process and the training, get them working as soon as we can. I would venture to say the 2 officers that are on L&I sometime between now and then are going to be retired. So then we would be back to our 15 budgeted positions with the hire of these 2, the 2 up positions. So that's my request. Like I said, the request of 2 entry-level police officers at the cost of the city of $76,776.60.
Councilmember Hess.
Just a quick question, and maybe I misunderstood a conversation that was going on with another city in reference to their officers. They would hire officers that would to send to the academy, and at some point while in the academy, they actually were able to change to another city that offered a better bonus and everything. What are the odds of that happening with
There
us?
is the possibility of that happening. It's not uncommon for when our officers, in fact, the last two that we had in the academy, it wasn't uncommon for them to be recruited or attempted to be recruited by other agencies to have them go to their agency. I think it speaks for what we offer them, for them to have stayed with us and have that loyalty. I think, and a lot of the reason why, especially for those two prior officers, is because we had them hired 2 months prior to their academy. So now they're doing their onboarding process with us. They're getting to know the officers, getting to know me. They're getting to know how we operate. And I think that's a huge selling point for them not want to leave. They've got a great work environment. These two positions, we already have two cadets basically in line. They've already passed their background. They're done with everything. They're ready to go. They're just waiting for that word. So I would want them to start September 1st to have that time with us before they go to the academy to try to build that rapport. And they're both very interested in working for Yelm. That's why they're waiting for us. Otherwise, they could have gone somewhere else, but they've chosen to stay with us.
Councilmember Kaminsky.
Chief, you said this is the amount that we need to the end of this year for
Correct.
both. Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Councilmember Smith.
Move to approve the hiring of 2 entry-level police officers at the cost to the city of Yelm to the amount of $76,776.60.
Second.
Councilmember Crossman. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Moving on, item B, confirmation of appointment to the City of Yelm Arts Commission. Kathy, do you want to brief this one?
Sure. So we had one member of our Arts Commission who was recently appointed to fill a vacancy, has not been able to fill that position due to commitments with their business, and they haven't been able to attend the meeting. So they have resigned, so which opened it up. So we went back to the applications that we have on file. We had, I believe, 5 applications that were just previously submitted within the last couple of months to serve on the Arts Commission. The mayor reviewed them. And the recommendation of the Arts Commission also to appoint
Steve Harshfield.
Steve Harshfield to fill that position. He attended our last meeting just as a citizen to listen in, and he's very interested in serving. He has the time to commit to serving and also to additional time to serve on the Creative District task force that the Arts Commission is doing to try to get the Creative District. So.
And this would replace appointed Gary Rurup.
Yeah.
Who was recently appointed, she stated. Any
Yeah.
questions? Councilmember Roy.
I move to confirm Mayor DePino's appointment of Steve Harshfield to serve on the Arts Commission from August 23rd, 2022 through December 31st, 2023.
Second by Councilmember Hess. Is there any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. And moving right along, pretty quick, got 6 minutes in, we've already. All right, old business.
Come in.
No, none scheduled. Updates. We got some updates. Gonna start off with the water reclamation facility, and I won't steal too much of your thunder. You can talk about it more for your committees, but the bids were accepted through August 18th, and the low bidder was Stellar J Corporation. It's out of Woodland, down south by Vancouver area. The contract will come before the council on September 13th, coming up pretty soon, not this next meeting, but the following. It's our first city council meeting after our study session. Parametrics is working on a construction management agreement, and our goal is to start the project in October, with construction actually starting here in the upcoming spring. So pretty quick timeline. Any questions on that? Alrighty. Moving on, the city has applied for a grant for 1.2 million from the Recreation Conservation Office, RCO, to extend the Prairie Line Trail over the river in McKenna, just outside of Roy. Director Colt gave a presentation to RCO on the grant application and feels that things are going well. Final grant decisions will be made next month. Any questions on that one? Moving right along. In So one thing that I've heard from council members and also for myself that we want to promote more transparency with the city, make things easier to access on the website. And to that end, we've added a few more things on there, a lot more things, but two things in particular, ordinances and resolutions are now easily viewable on the city's website. You select, I want to view, and then ordinance and resolutions are towards the bottom of that. So it's just easier access for residents, for yourselves, if you want to look at it, to see what we're doing here in the city in terms of ordinances and resolutions. Any questions on that? All right, moving right along. We'll start with Councilmember Crossman today.
Yeah.
Councilmember
Public
Portis.
Services Committee today, which Councilmember Hess will be on, and other than that, nothing too exciting.
Fair enough. Thank you, Councilmember Crossman. Councilmember Councilmember Smith.
I had no meetings, but I did play in the cornhole tournament this weekend, and I think my team came in dead last. I did throw one bag behind me, so that was fun. But it was a great turnout from the community. So that's it.
Very cool. Councilmember Hess.
Intercity Transit Authority, lots of good work going on there. They're continuing to work on trying to get to pre-COVID services, making sure that they get some more bus drivers, mechanics. So for one of the things that they're trying to do is find people to bring on board to work there. So it's a great opportunity for a lot of the young adults that are interested in being diesel mechanics or getting some skill sets there. And if they're over 21, being a bus driver, because you can catch the bus 94 and it takes you wherever you need to go. Pay and benefits are really good for that. They're also working on getting a few electric buses, if I remember correct, to start testing out to see how that's going to work out. Start working on that one. They are also, in reference to capital project wise, they are looking at doing a lot of redesigning with the current bus stops, trying to make them so that they're a little bit more accessible, in particular for the back door. It was a wonderful briefing because there's a lot of trees, various other things that are in the way. So one of the things that we as a city that if we could kind of make sure that our bus stops, when we start looking at planning, working with them so that when we plan where bus stops can be, that it's set up nicely for the bus itself. There isn't a tree plant where the back door is going to be, or vegetation or something like that. And the big reason why they're doing the additions for the back door is with Thurston County Intercity Transit being no fare buses, you can enter the front door or the back door, not with no worries. And that's been working out really well. Let's see, for public service meeting that we had today, we got to welcome a new attendee, the Communications Recreation Coordinator, Ms. Desiree Atkin. She briefed us on a proposal for a fee schedule for the city parks. It is something in the works. It's not guaranteed at this point. It's just a discussion that she brought to our attention. And I believe, if I remember correct, Director Colt, it's going to be included with all the other fees that are going to be proposed for the new year sometime in September, correct?
September will be the first time you guys see them, yes.
And that's when we'll start discussing them. So we're looking at that. And in reference to the fee schedules from public service, some of them are going to go up, some are going to go down. There'll be some that are added. It'll be beneficial for everybody involved. So that was a good discussion that we had. The annexation updates that are going on. September 13th is the meeting that will be brought to the council for action. But during the study session, they're going to present the proposed annexations for us to study and get an understanding of and be able to be prepared to make the actions on for September 13th. We also had a discussion from Director Colt about the one-way couplet and activated alleyway for Washington and Mackenzie Streets. It was a great presentation. It's going to make our downtown walkable. It's a great start for those that are interested public-wise. It's the streets that are right over here around the water tower. It's setting one to be one way in one direction, another one to be one way, and then having a more of the alleyways being walkable, no more driving through there. And along with that project, we'll get some sidewalks put in and make it so that we can start getting our downtown.
Just for clarification, on the alleyway would be right between, behind like Salon Nouveau, over there, White Horse.
It'll be the alleyway that's on the west side. Well, I'm trying to think of north side, south side. It's right between City Hall and the tall building.
Yeah.
Tall place and hotel. The old hotel, I believe it was.
Maybe a long, long time ago.
So anyways, that was a great presentation and we're looking forward to seeing that get developed and more discussions on it. In reference to the WRF, the Water Reclamation Facility bids, the city engineer presented to us about it. One of the things that's very important to understand when the discussion comes up in September for September 13th, when it'll be presented to us, and he will present it again this way. All the bids came in pretty close. I mean, there was no outliers out there. They were all very close. So it was a very competitive process. And it demonstrated that we are looking at people who really want to help us out, as well as they are looking at the true costs of what it does for construction, no longer, I don't like using the term padding the pockets, but preparing for different things. So we're looking at a really good cost with the fact that a few years ago when it was originally budgeted, we've had construction costs go up. I've also asked that when it gets presented, that Director Colt please look into and brief us about the actual costs of how it's going to get paid for. Because I know that there'll be concerns from community members that means with this new project that their sewer rates are going to go up or something's going to go up. And during this discussion, during the meeting, it was stated that no, at the current rate, there will be no raising of the charges. And but he's going to brief us more on that when that comes up. So just be patient with that. The other thing is that there was, I wanted to also commend the planning department for their briefing that they gave, the presentation that they gave during the planning commission meeting. For those who have not seen it yet, it's a great presentation of why we plan. And it works really well to help explain the growing pains of a community and why we go through and do what we do. And I think it was very well done by the three people. So Director Colt, your planning department is top notch, I think, second to none. Other than that, I have nothing else to add.
Thank you, Councilmember Hess. Councilmember Roy, top that, please.
Get comfortable. Like Council Member Smith, I also attended the Lions Cornhole Tournament. And I do believe that we're second to last. We've got some fine athletes in your council chamber. But it was a lot of fun and we raised a fair amount of money for our community. I also had Steady this week. We had a great update from the Thurston County Commissioners who are starting the conversation on redistricting before going into the conversation of adding more commissioners, which should be on your ballot in November. They gave 4 great reasons why redistricting is necessary. And if you have any questions, definitely do your research and see what that looks like for you. But it was, they gave a great presentation. Thurston Strong gave an update. There are still grants available for small businesses. Bucota is hiring a clerk/treasurer. So if there's anyone out there who is looking for a job in Bucota, that is available. The mayor there also said that all of Thurston County mayors are participating in the casket race. So I am looking forward to seeing what.
Happy to participate.
And then with Steady, on October 21st, we're meeting here in Yelm. So that's at 8 o'clock at Mr. Doug's. So if
21st, you said?
October 21st. October 21st.
This is the last Friday.
It's the 4th Friday. Now I'm doubting everything that I know in my life. Yeah. Third Friday, 21st. If you show up and nobody else is there, it's the next week.
That's fair.
So, but it'll be here in Yelm.
It's your 21st.
It's the 21st, for sure.
The third.
It's the third Friday, not the
Okay.
fourth Friday.
All right.
So that's all I have. I did not top it.
Well, that was pretty good though. Thank you, Councilmember. Wow, I wanted to call you Blair for some reason. I just got a text from him. I'm sorry. Thank you, Councilmember Roy. Councilmember, now I want to say Roy. Councilmember Blair said he's not gonna be able to make it, so. Thank you, Councilmember Roy. Councilmember Kavitsky, please.
Okay. I have an exciting update from the Nisqually River Council.
Ooh.
We have an update on the European green crab and how their extreme proliferation is decimating the sound.
What are we gonna do?
That's me.
They didn't give us the answer. They just showed the proliferation part. Yeah, I know. So we talked about that. And then also this is the International Year of the Salmon 2022 Pan-Pacific Winter High Seas Expedition.
Yeah.
And what that means is there were 4 boats that went out to study the salmon and the habitat. One was from the US, one was from Japan, one was from Russia, and the other was from Canada.
Wow.
And so they went out and studied the habitat, and there are definitely more sockeye salmon in the sound in the waters than there were before. So that's a good thing. And the other thing, we talked about this at the public services meeting, Eatonville is working on their historic area, and it's 5-phase plan. And what they're going to do, they've actually purchased the old mineral museum, and they're going to rehab that, as well as they purchased the train. I think it's the original train, and they're going to restore the original depot and the junction that was there and along the scenic railway. So they're in a 5-phase plan to that in conjunction with the park and I think the tribe. So that'll be interesting. And lastly, the most important part for us, the I-5 project is going well. I think they took Maria Cantwell out this month, and they said so far they've taken 100 people in those little boats out on the river under the bridge to show the erosion and the thing with what's going on there. And because it's in conjunction with the tribe and JBLM, they're getting a lot of national attention for this. And there's even a talk that they might be making a documentary of it as a case study of how to manage natural resources. So that was interesting. And of course, they're going to detour construction through Yelm. So I said, we better plan for that because you know what happens. But of course, we'll have a lot of preamble about what to do on that. But that is coming along. And that's my report.
Cool. Thank you, Councilmember Kaminsky. My report, I participated in the dunk tank for the Boys and Girls Club last weekend. That was cold. The water was really cold that day. It wasn't a sunny, hot day at all. Met with the Habitat for Humanity. They're going to be talking to council here about their budget request. I think they have a $25,000 budget request. I think it's pretty high, but it's council's decision what you all want to do on that. But they did talk about also their piece of property that's East Haven, right across the street from East Haven Villa, behind a gas station. And it's a pretty good sized piece of property. And they're wanting to build a bunch of townhouses there. And I think they already had the pre-submittal. And yeah, and they'll probably talk about it more. Was I not supposed to share that? Or?
No, that's fine. That's good. They're working, they're on the progress to getting it done.
Yeah. So it's not for a while, but yeah, they have things planned out and priced out and all that, and it's gonna provide a lot of good affordable housing here in Yelm. Other than that, the PRPC planning agenda planning meeting. I had a meeting with some military folks with Dr. Colt, discussing like emergency management, how they can help planning and how we can have them come to our like a drill and stuff like that, like a Cascadia type of drill for us, and just prepare even more. That's all I've got. Anything else for the good of the order? Councilmember Smith.
Move to adjourn.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Meeting adjourned.